Good evening, my fellow Exorcists, and welcome to the Lair of the Film Exorcist. Tonight, Gold Squadron will be reviewing Star Wars The Bad Batch, Episode 5, Rampage. The Batch strike a deal to take on a mission. Gold Squadron calling in. Gold Leader.
Gold 3.
Now, before we move on to our opinion, I'd like to just announce that this video is sponsored by Animal. So go buy yourself some amazing low-priced anime merch, including cute figurines to brighten up your collection. And every time you use the code FILM, you'll get 5% off your purchases. So, this was a pretty exciting episode, and it left a bit of an idea for, I'm pretty sure, most of us when we saw it. I mean, we get to see Wrecker fight a baby Rancor, and it's about the same height as him. I mean, that is amazing right there.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to watch how that came to be. It was just kind of out of the blue, in my opinion, but it was fun to watch.
And I mean, think about it. That could be the Rancor that, or let's not just call it the Rancor, let's call it Mochi. Mochi could be the Rancor that Luke kills, or it could be the mother of the Rancor that he kills and almost gets eaten by.
I'd like to believe that that's the mother. I don't know their lifespan, so I'm gonna assume in my head canon.
I mean, I'd like to believe that it's the actual Rancor, but again, we don't know how long it lives. They haven't given us a date for how long, but it would be awesome if that's the Rancor. Knowing that it tired Wrecker so much that he literally ended up flopping on the ground after fighting it. And Wrecker wasn't too bad either. I mean, for the past couple of episodes, we've seen him get his ass kicked, and here, he literally, this shows his strength, and his agility is comparable to a young Rancor, which is an amazing feat. And no offense to the Rancor, but when I saw its back come out, I almost mistook it for a Gundark, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought that was overall just seeing the Rancor was kind of interesting. But other than that, I think this episode did provide some cool things with a character such as Sid. I think that was kind of a cool way to introduce this character. I'm really hoping we see more of this character throughout the series.
So do I. I mean, honestly, throughout the show, I could find myself saying, oh my god, I love this character. Now, yeah, be it I've said this for many characters, but Sid's interesting. We literally know nothing about her other than she dealt with Jedi. She's a secret broker / smuggler, and she's working with Jabba the Hutt, or at least Bib Fortuna, which is pretty interesting. And no offense to the creators, but I could tell it was Bib from the beginning, as soon as we saw that square chin and heard the voice.
For me, it was just the voice. The voice was a dead giveaway.
Especially since we last saw Bib Fortuna have his fat ass get destroyed by Boba Fett and Fennec Shan. And that was in The Mandalorian as a kind of opener to the book of Boba Fett. Here, we get to see young Bib Fortuna, kinda, since, I mean, last time I can remember a young Bib Fortuna, it was episode 1.
Oh yeah, I mean, seeing the character again, we already know how Bib dies. So just seeing the character come back in animated form was cool. I mean, I feel like we're gonna have more characters, such as like maybe some of the other bounty hunters, possibly even Boba. It's going to be fun to see, where these characters are at before we see them in movies. So it'll be interesting how they introduce them, and if they even introduce them, how all that's going to play out.
You know what'd be interesting? If we meet Han Solo, young Han Solo. I mean, last time we saw young him was in Solo, or at least, I think it was the Yoda No, the Padawan Menace was the last time we've seen, or the youngest we've seen Han Solo. This one, we could see a young Han Solo going through the cities of Corellia, working with Kira to help that weird snake creature, and maybe giving the Bad Batch a little hand.
Possibility, yeah.
But I'm surprised they also went to Ord Mantell. I mean, from my memory, we've only really heard that in books and stories. I don't ever remember seeing Ord Mantell on any of the shows, which is...
Yeah, I don't either.
We got that. That's pretty good. Oh, and the best part. Omega gets her bow. That is the best part right there. And it got me excited seeing her steal that Zygerian slaver's bow and wrist crossbow or bowcaster or whatever you want to call it. Which means we might get to see her do some weapon training in the next episode.
For sure. I think that by the end of this season, or at least maybe, 4 or 5 episodes more in, we're going to see a completely different Omega. One that's going to be on the same level, if not better than them. Like, I feel like she slowly, since the very beginning, has been picking up a lot of things from Hunter, but now she's picking up things from every one of them. And so I feel like, I know there's a lot of theories saying she's force sensitive and whatnot. I don't know. I don't really know how that could be, but it's a possibility. But definitely, her being able to be quick on picking up skills and abilities, this could be like the next level for, clones, if this was to be kind of like the template for Palpatine's cloning later on.
Might be. I also find it really funny that she's supposedly the smartest one there compared to Tech and Echo, since, hello, it was a bit obvious that was, what is her name, San, whatever is, Sid, yeah. It was a bit obvious that was Sid, so it kind of shows, these clones aren't as smart as they seemed in the first couple of episodes. I mean, you see this character scrubbing up the bar, working on it. Yeah, I think she owns the bar, guys. So, obviously, she's Sid, the info broker. And I love each dig that Sid takes on the Bad Batch involving Echo. And I also really like the little high five that Omega gives. The little high five that she gives Wrecker. That was something kind of cute. Or funny.
It was nice to see that, I think that out of the group, besides Hunter, I think that she's the closest to Wrecker.
Yeah.
And with Echo, it's the annoyed cousin, uncle, and I don't even know what Tech would be. I guess an older brother in a sense. But you could see that, especially those two, Wrecker and her. And I think you said this before. They're about the same age, mentality wise. But we see that more, And it also sucks because we're seeing the headache come back again. So I feel like now it's a race against time to before they can find Rex. Like I feel like Rex will be what helps them stop Wrecker from actually having his chip activated. So I'm hoping that maybe in the next 2 or 3 episodes we'll see Wreck and maybe them stopping Wrecker from going all the way, because I feel like we will see part of it, kind of like what we did with Rex when he first turned. Like he had that little bit of, I guess you could say, his own free will or his own control, and then he became assimilated basically. So I feel like we're gonna hopefully see maybe just a snippet of what Wrecker is with the inhibitor chip working, and then just stopping it right then and there.
Right. I also like how they announced that Fennec Shan is, I guess, kind of like the man, like Din Djarin, where she quickly made her way through the ranks, very little training, and just she's one of the best bounty hunters out there. I mean, we still got Cad Bane, we haven't seen him die yet. We still got Boba Fett, but just to hear Fennec Shan is one of the best out there at this point, you gotta think, how did Din Djarin survive, and how did the Bad Batch get away if she's just so good?
We also gotta think, spoilers for those that haven't watched The Mandalorian. She died, semi-died to a rookie. So, I mean, even the greats kind of, have some slack where they get a little too cocky and stuff like that happen. I mean, you just never know when, stuff like that happens. Like, even the best have a bad day.
I guess. Well, it's also kind of interesting that we got to see the Zygerian slavers come back. I mean, we haven't seen them since, I think, Season 4, when Anakin, Obi-Wan, Rex, and Ahsoka went after them. But we also kind of watched them kick the crap out of the clones, shock them, take them prisoner, and we also get to hear one of their most famous, I guess, curse words, technically, or slang, Scug. Constantly calling the clones Scugs, which I don't know what it means, but obviously it's one of their most well-known insults. But also we get to see that Rancor tear them up, and it's just awesome, and a bit sad on their part, since they're supposed to be some of the best slavers in the galaxy, and they just get obliterated. I also kind of like the little monster fight between the, I don't know what the creature's called, but I'm gonna call it a pterodactyl versus Mochi.
If you weren't gonna touch on that, I was about to do that. I mean, I really did like that fight. For some reason, I don't know why, but it had like King Kong Godzilla vibes right there. Not that it's the same, obviously, but I kind of had that same vibe. And I was just like, I really was enjoying seeing that fight. I had hoped that Mochi was gonna like pull a King Kong and like try to tear off its head, but then I remembered it's still Disney, so that wasn't going to possibly happen anyway.
True.
But it was still a cool little fight, and it would have been nice had it been a little more gory, but I still enjoy that.
Yeah, it was a little too short for me, but we also see a bit of cleverness from Omega against the Zygerians. I mean, sneaking through the little port in the gunship, or in the shuttle, that's what it's called, through the gun, and just sneaking around and just A lot of good parts in this episode, especially pulling that rod out of the lock and releasing Mochi. Like, oh, I wasn't trying to sneak around. Or no, I was just unlocking. And it's brilliant. And I really hope we get to see more stealth missions from Omega, or again with the bow, which, if I remember correctly, we kind of see something from her in the trailer that might suggest her going to Dathomir and gaining a Dathomirian witch bow.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I definitely got that vibe too, that at some point, I mean, they've gone to different planets up until now, you know. So, I mean, I feel like at some point they're gonna have to stop at a planet like Dathomir. And so I'm excited for that, because Dathomir is actually one of my favorite planets. And I'm hoping, you know, that we get to see maybe, you know, Darth Maul there. That would be kind of cool. Or, you know, maybe even, I can't remember the Dathomirian witch sister, whatever, that was in Jedi Knight Fallen Order or whatever. That girl. Can't remember her name.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember her name, but we might also see Malakith.
Malachi, yes, that would be cool. So, you know, we don't know who else is on that planet at this time either. You know, it's still relatively early. It's only been a few weeks, so, and I don't know how long it's going to be. You know, like timeline wise, how long it's going to be with the series. You know, and how much time they're going to cover with this group. But you know, I feel like with what we've gotten so far, things are moving very quickly throughout the whole galaxy. So,
well, I mean,
you know,
we got time. We've got a lot of episodes to cover, and I don't think Grand Executive Filoni will be speeding up anytime soon. I mean, he's got a really good pace so far.
Yeah, it's a lot of world building, character development. So, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it.
I mean, maybe in the second season, probably. I mean, that's how they did it with the Clone Wars and Rebels, like skipping a year, maybe. But, yeah, I don't think he's gonna skip the timeline anytime soon. I can't really think of anything else from this episode. It was just a really good Echo episode. I mean, not Echo, Omega episode. Echo didn't really get to shine that much. But actually, I think he was mostly used as a tool shed to open the collars, but that was about it. Hunter got captured a little too easily. I mean, he did beat, or no, he got his ass kicked by the Zygerian Hunter too. Wrecker, he had his moment with with Mochi. Tech, not really much. He kind of looked like an idiot for a moment there. And, yeah, this was more of a Wrecker and Omega episode, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it really shows they are such a great pair, and they can carry their own stories at some point.
This episode was overall, like you said, very Omega, very Wrecker oriented, focused on, and you know, we get to see a little more of the lore. You know, we get to see new characters, returning characters, I call them, or debuting characters if you haven't seen them in animation. And it's nice, you know. I like that they're going to different planets, such as like Ord Mantell, going to different planets, you know, exploring the galaxy, I guess. would be the right way to say it. So I've enjoyed it so far. It was a good episode. I'm just kind of wanting them to pick up the pace a little bit more. But other than that, I think that this was a pretty good episode. I'd give it a solid B. And yeah, I think that this was a good episode.
I definitely agree on the B, and I agree with most of what you said, but there was one thing we forgot to mention. The little thing between Sid and and Hunter at the end, where she says, "You guys must be very special for someone like her to go after. But don't worry, I'm good with secrets." That was cute right there. She's a better version of that Celestin scum that we had to deal with in the last episode, but it's also kind of iffy if we can complete her. I can't wait to see the Bad Batch do more of these missions for her, but yeah, it was a solid Omega Wrecker episode. I can't wait to see what Omega does with the bow, and I'm a bit worried for Wrecker right now because his head's been hurting a lot. He's been pounding on that same area, and it might activate pretty soon. Any final words, Jesus?
It's a pleasure to be on the video and discussing Star Wars with you guys. Yeah, and like you said, make sure to like, comment down below. We'd love to know your thoughts. And stay safe, guys, and may the Force be with you always.
Gold Squadron, signing out.